Hello and welcome back to my channel. Our British summer is starting to creep in and we've been lucky enough to have some lovely warm days recently. So I thought it was the perfect time to do the next part of my wardrobe switchover from spring to summer so that I have everything out that I'll need for the warmer months ahead. This is the first year that I'm trialling doing 4 seasonal switches rather than my usual 2. So today's switch follows on from the winter to spring switch that I completed back in April. And I'll link this below in the description box for anyone that missed it. In that video, you'll have seen that I did leave out a handful of wool coats to see me through the spring season. But now it's time for those to be packed away, so I'm removing those from my main rail to free up the hangers and the space, which will then be filled with more summer appropriate pieces. This is the first switch that I'm doing since making my central rotating storage island, and I'll also leave the link to the video for that DIY project in the description box below if you're interested to see how I made it. But unlike the storage footstool that I had in here previously, the island can't be removed from the room, so I'm having to work around it. A sacrifice I'm willing to make in order to have that much needed additional storage space and of course my folding area. So I'm doing this switch a bit differently to avoid creating mess in the empty spaces that I have around the island. Pulling out one storage box at a time and then going through that before getting out another one. With each storage tub that I get out, I go through the contents and clear out any items that I no longer want to keep, and then create designated category piles of the items which are being kept, so that they can all be stored in the correct way. Trousers, for example, are hung on trouser hangers and then temporarily hung on my main rail until all are hung. And any shorts from this tub are going into one of the empty drawers that I cleared when packing away a lot of my thicker knitwear in the winter to spring switch back in April. Before adding all of my summer trousers onto my trouser rail, I need to clear some space by editing that rail down and removing any items which realistically I'm not going to wear throughout summer. I have some wool blazers, some cashmere cardigans and some trousers which can all be packed away until autumn. Once I freed up those hangers and the space, I could finish hanging my summer trousers and then add those to my trouser rail whilst organising them in my desired light to dark colour order. The next tub was a summer footwear tub, so I'm taking that out to my shoe cupboard, which is just outside my wardrobe. As some of you may have seen in my previous videos, along with the stackable shoe boxes inside my shoe cupboard, I also have this hanging shoe storage which hangs on the inside of the door. This kind of storage is perfect for any footwear like sandals and flats, even trainers, and it's a great way to utilise space on a door if you're short of space or if, like me, you just have a lot of footwear. Pair by pair, I started adding them into the hanging storage. Again, my colour order running from light at the top to dark down at the bottom. I do have a few more pairs of luxury branded summer footwear which aren't kept in storage tubs, and they'll be added to this section a little later on. Moving on to my next tub, which was mainly linen shirts and dresses. Again, I edited down the box, removing any items which I didn't want to keep, and then I hung everything that was staying. As I did with the trousers, I hung my shirts on the main rail so that I could easily organise those when putting them on the lower rail, which shirts share with trousers. I then reorganised the dresses, again in colour order of light to dark, and then each colour is then organised in order of sleeve length, so going from long sleeved to short sleeved and then sleeveless. My final tub had all of my denim shorts, sweatshorts and basic t-shirts and vests. I started going through my denim shorts and organising those before putting them in another empty drawer underneath the other drawer full of linen and lighter fabric shorts. Now all shorts are together in these 2 drawers. I then cleared some space in my long sweats drawer so that all my sweatshorts could be vertically folded just like my hoodies, quarter zips and joggers, and then slotted in at the end. Once again, running in light to dark order from the front to the back of the drawer. I had one pair of ripped jeans to go onto my denim shelves, and then I moved to the tub full of basics. I culled a few basics which had lost their shape or that I'd replaced over the last few months, and then folded everything else and kept them in their categories: long sleeve, short sleeve, and sleeveless. In order to fit these basics into my basics drawer, I needed to edit that down in the same way that I did with the other areas of my wardrobe. I removed the merino and remaining cashmere basics that I had in this drawer and then moved everything across to fill the drawer before adding in the folded basics which had just come from my storage tub. I had another empty drawer in the right chest, so I used that for any of my built-in bra tops because they're a little bit tricky to be folded vertically due to the padding in the cups, so those are just stacked one on top of each other. All empty tubs were stacked outside so that they were ready for packing away anything I'd removed from my spring wardrobe. But before I started that final task of packing away, I needed to go back to my shoe cupboard and get out my final pairs of summer footwear, which I keep in their boxes in a cupboard in one of our guest rooms. These are the more premium branded sandals that I own, which is why I keep them protected in their boxes rather than just a big plastic storage tub when they're not within my wardrobe. I needed to do a little bit of reorganising in order to fit them all into my hanging door storage in their colour order, but I got them all in. And now onto the final task of filling those empty tubs with any of the items that I decided not to keep out for summer. I always try and keep categories together so that it makes things easier when getting tubs back out for the next season. But if there's space, I will add multiple categories to one tub to utilise the space. Once the tubs are filled, they can then be moved back into the eaves storage space where they'll stay until my next switchover, which I think will probably be around September or early October, weather depending. As usual, I always finish every switchover by vacuuming because there can be quite a lot of fibre dust, and whilst I do vacuum in here on a daily basis, I feel like it needs a more thorough vacuum after a switch. And there we go, my wardrobe is now fully in summer mode. This switch was probably the quickest I've ever done. It only took me 3 hours to fully complete. So although I now have to do one switch per season, I think I prefer these slightly more smaller and precise switches. And I think it's more beneficial to have out exactly what's needed and what's appropriate for the season that I'm in, rather than having loads of additional items which won't actually be needed or worn. And now that I have the rest of the day to spare, I can go in the garden and enjoy the sunshine. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.